If you're trying to live more sustainably, you definitely know the feeling.
Oh, yeah.
You open an article on, say, reducing waste, and suddenly you are just staring down this encyclopedia of conflicting advice.
Mm-hmm.
What's compostable? Which plastic number is the bad one? Do I really have to buy a bamboo toothbrush?
And that information overload,
Yeah.
it just leads to paralysis, right? It's the paradox of choice.
Exactly.
You want to cut down on waste, but the complexity makes you feel like, I don't know, like you need a PhD just to sort your trash.
Right.
Well, that stops today. We
Yeah.
took a fantastic stack of sources, a collection of some of the most practical advice out there, and we've distilled it into a single zero-waste quick guide.
Absolutely. So our mission here is to move past the environmental theory and identify the most simple, impactful changes you can implement, like immediately.
This isn't about becoming perfectly zero-waste overnight.
No, not at all. It's about making targeted adjustments across your life, at home, at work, on the go. So let's start with the foundational philosophy. And this really requires a radical shift in how we think about that big blue bin.
It really does. We often start our sustainability journey thinking about the end of life of an item.
Right. What do I do with it when I'm done?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the zero-waste philosophy pushes us much, much further up that chain. It's all built on the framework of the 5 Rs.
And the order is critical.
The order is everything.
Okay, so here's the list, and you have to learn them in this order of priority. The first and highest impact rule is to refuse what you don't need.
Mm-hmm.
The second is to reduce what you use. The third, reuse what you can. Then number 4, recycle right. And finally, number 5, rot, which is, composting food scraps.
And that is such a profound insight that recycling is the 4th line of defense, not the first.
It's way down the list.
Way down. And the data completely supports this. Globally, only about 9% of all plastic that's ever been produced has actually been recycled.
Wow, only 9%.
Knowing that just makes the effort you put into refusing or reducing so much more urgent and frankly more effective than just hoping the system handles your bottle later.
Okay, so if refuse is number 1, what are the actionable targets? I mean, beyond just saying no to a plastic straw at a restaurant.
Right. Refuse needs to be strategic. It means proactively unsubscribing from junk mail and all those unwanted catalogs.
Oh, that's a good one.
It means refusing the promotional freebies, the samples, those little shampoo bottles or pins you're never going to use.
Right.
It means at a coffee shop actually saying, no lid, please, or no napkin, thanks. You're actively blocking that unnecessary consumption before it can even happen.
I really appreciate that focus. So let's integrate that idea, refuse and reduce, into our daily routines, because that's where these habits actually stick, right? The small, repeatable actions. What does the guide suggest for the morning?
The morning routine is such low-hanging fruit. We're looking at really simple swamps here, like moving away from liquid soap and shampoos and plastic bottles to solid bars.
Or refill.
Or, if you prefer liquid, commit to using refill bottles. It's all about eliminating that constant stream of single-use plastic coming into your home.
Okay, I'll admit my personal weakness. Paper towels.
A classic.
I know I should be better, but that convenience is just, it's so hard to give up. What do the sources say about transitioning away from that?
You are definitely not alone there. The recommendation is to just transition to washable cloths for cleaning up spills. And this is a big one. While you're brushing your teeth, make sure you turn off the water.
Such a basic thing we all forget.
Right. These are resources we just waste on autopilot. And these small acts, when you do them consistently, they compound into real, measurable savings over time.
What about the evening routine? Because that's often when we're dealing more with energy conservation and personal care.
In the evening, the focus really shifts to energy management. Sources are very strong on this. Switch all your lighting to energy-efficient LED bulbs. And we also need to address the phantom drain. Phantom drain. It's the power that appliances consume, even when they're turned off but still plugged in.
Oh, like phone chargers.
Phone chargers, idle TVs, you name it. Switch those off at the power strip or just unplug them completely.
So we've kind of nailed down the home routine, but I feel like those habits can fail the minute you walk outdoor unprepared.
Oh, completely.
So let's tackle that challenge keeping the refuse rule alive when you're out, running errands or grabbing lunch.
This is where preparedness is everything. Waste happens when convenience dictates your choices. So the sources present this concept of the Zero Waste Go Kit.
A Go Kit.
Yeah, it's the essential gear you pack to basically intercept disposables before you need them.
Okay, let's dive into this Go Kit. What are the four, non-negotiable items that handle 90% of those on-the-go waste scenarios?
Number 1 is universally essential, your reusable water bottles.
Of course.
Number 2, a reusable fork, a spoon, and a cloth napkin. This just eliminates all that disposable cutlery and paper when you grab takeout.
And number 3 is incredibly useful. A small reusable container or a snack bag.
Yes.
I've found this is so essential for unexpected leftovers. If you grab lunch on the way home, having that container means you can avoid the restaurant's disposable box.
Exactly. You're turning down their packaging because you came prepared. And the final, simplest item, but the one people forget constantly.
The shopping bag.
Your reusable shopping bag. You should carry one that folds up small enough to fit in a pocket or a backpack, so you never get stuck at checkout.
That Go Kit really addresses impulse waste. But let's talk about intentional consumption like shopping. This is where the Reduce R really shines.
Right. You have to shop with real purpose. The first rule is to always make a list and buy only what you know you'll actually use. This prevents food waste before it even gets in your house.
And when you're in the store, you have to learn to bypass all that hyper-packaged convenience stuff. The guide suggests picking loose produce, apples, avocados, whatever, and using your own reusable bags for bulk items like nuts or flour.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, this kind of intentional shopping is also highly economic.
It saves money.
A lot of money. Buying in bulk or just using a list ensures you avoid overstocking and wasting money on food that spoils. And for non-food items, choose durable, repairable goods. If something is cheap and designed to break, you're just committing to future waste.
So focus on quality and longevity.
Exactly.
We also spend huge chunks of our lives outside the home at school or at work. What are the zero waste actions specific to those environments?
In the office, the principle of reuse is probably the most powerful. Start with your supplies. Opt for refillable pens and pencils, sturdy notebooks that are meant to last for years, not just a semester.
And I love this one. The rule of borrowing.
Yes.
Borrow, share, or buy used before you buy something new. That just drastically cuts down on the demand for manufacturing new items, whether it's a book or a tool or office equipment.
And of course, paper consumption. Print only when it's strictly necessary, and always use both sides of the paper.
It seems so obvious.
It does.
Yeah.
But it's a habit that just slips when we're focused on speed.
Okay, so now we're moving into the end-of-life cycle for organics. We're focusing heavily on the two final R's. Rot and recycling. And we absolutely have to start with food waste because it is one of the highest impact contributors to landfill methane gas.
Food waste is a massive, massive problem. The guide offers very practical kitchen strategies to tackle it. First, meal planning stops you from buying too much.
Okay.
Second, create an eat-first shelf in your fridge.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, a designated spot for items, especially produce, that are getting close to their expiration date and need to be used up.
And proper storage is basically a sustainability tool in itself.
It really is.
Learning how to store food well, keeping herbs fresh in water, bread in a linen bag, it makes a difference. And freeze your extras before they spoil, not after.
And always use reusable containers. Skip the single-serve, highly packaged options whenever you can.
So for what you truly can't eat, that's where rot comes in.
That's where composting closes the resource loop. Examples of what you can compost are things like fruit and vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, eggshells.
Yard waste too.
And yard waste, yes.
But a lot of listeners might live in apartments or, cities where a backyard compost pile just isn't an option. Does the guide offer alternatives?
It does. If you can't compost at home, you should investigate municipal food scrap collection programs. A lot of cities now offer this curbside.
Okay.
Or you can look for community gardens or farmers markets that accept food scraps. You could even consider a compact indoor system like a worm bin or one of those small electric composters.
Right, which turns scraps into soil really quickly.
And cleanly.
Okay, let's pivot to laundry and cleaning, another high-impact area for water and energy use.
Exactly. Here, we're looking to reduce chemicals and consumption. Focus on simple, effective cleaners. You can use a simple solution of just vinegar and water for a lot of household tasks.
Or choose the refillable concentrates.
Yes, instead of buying a new plastic bottle every time you run out of cleaner.
And the washing machine. It's just an energy hog, so laundry efficiency is key.
It is. Wash in cold water whenever you can. Modern detergents work just as well without heating all that water, and air dry your clothing. It saves a significant amount of energy that the dryer would otherwise just burn through.
Okay. And finally, before we even consider getting rid of an item, we have to apply the principles of extending its life. Fix, share, donate.
Right. This means repairing items before you replace them. Mend your clothes. Repair your electronics. The sources really emphasize mending clothes before you even donate them to make sure they have a longer second life.
That's such a great point, making sure your donation is actually usable, not just delaying its trip to the landfill.
Exactly. Donating or swapping items you no longer use keeps them in circulation, which powerfully fulfills that reuse goal. The guide even suggests hosting a community fix-it or a swap event.
Which makes these practices fun and social. Okay, so we have refused, reduced, reused, and rotted. Now and only now. Do we confront the most confusing aspect to most people? The blue bin. Recycle.
Right. This is where misinformation and contamination cause the most issues for recycling facilities.
Let's start with absolute clarity. What is recyclable? The sources are universal on this. Materials have to be clean.
Clean is key.
This includes clean paper and cardboard, metal cans, glass bottles, and the main plastic bottles and jugs that held water, milk, or juice.
And to address the famous plastic numbers, the ones that are generally accepted by most systems are plastics number 1, number 2, and number 5.
1, 2, and 5.
You should think of those 3 as your core universal recycling currency. Knowing those helps prevent so much contamination.
But let's spend more time on the contamination points, the common mistakes. What is not recyclable in the standard bin?
Any food-soiled item. Grease from a pizza box, sticky residue in a yogurt container.
Right.
Or half-eaten food packaging has to be thrown out or cleaned thoroughly. Contaminated materials can ruin entire bales of otherwise good recyclable material.
Causing the whole thing to go to the landfill.
The whole thing, yes.
And then we have the specific plastic culprits that cause all the issues.
Absolutely. Most flexible plastics are out. So plastic bags and film must be kept out of curbside bins because they jam the machinery. They usually require a specialized store drop-off.
And then what about the small, hard items we always confuse for recyclables?
That would include things like plastic straws, styrofoam cups, which is plastic number 6, and plastic utensils. They're either too small to sort or they're made of complex polymers.
Okay, so avoid number 6.
Avoid 6, and you also need to exclude plastics number 3, that's like PVC, often used in those clear plastic clamshell packages, and number 4, which is like LDPE film.
And this section in the sources really stresses the need to know your local guidelines.
You have to.
Just because a number is stamped on an item doesn't mean your specific facility has the technology to process it. Always check your city's guidelines.
And a final reminder about the things that must be kept entirely out of standard trash or recycling: hazardous special drop-offs.
Things like batteries.
Batteries, fluorescent light bulbs, electronics, and old medications. They have to be taken to local drop-off sites for safe disposal. They just can't go into the water or soil.
So what does this all mean? We've covered everything from the philosophical framework of the 5 Rs all the way down to the nitty-gritty of plastic numbers and contamination.
It means we've successfully translated that huge, overwhelming goal of zero waste into a list of specific achievable habits.
Right.
You now have a comprehensive guide covering everything from your morning routine and energy use to smart shopping, efficient laundry, and the precise rules for proper recycling. The key takeaway is just that zero waste is achieved through these small, targeted adjustments.
Across all the different domains of your life.
Exactly.
And as we finish this deep dive into these resources, which, for those who want to explore further, provide contact info at equalhausa@gmail.com and the website www.equalalpha.org-Tallery, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought. And it's based on the single most important rule we discussed today.
A critical question for you to carry forward.
We spent a lot of time reviewing that long list of items that are not recyclable, things like plastic straws, styrofoam, chip bags, candy wrappers. If the very first rule of the 5 Rs is refuse, how often do we actually apply that rule in real time? Choosing to simply avoid purchasing the item altogether rather than relying on the hope of properly disposing of it later?
That's the real question.
That initial choice is where the true power of zero waste really lies.